It's there, the first novel that has the EU at its center, Robert Menasse's novel Die Hauptstadt, and I really recommend you to read it. It won the German Book Award, but it's not that it's over-the-top literature or it's very hard to read. To me, this novel is like a mixture of Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code and Robert Musil's The Man Without Characteristics. It's entertaining, but it really makes a broader point and challenges you how you think about the European Union. Though I have to say, I didn't like the Dan Brown part of it. There is a plot about a Polish assassin of a Christian order who kills someone in the beginning of the book. It's all very mysterious and stuff, and it really reminded me of the Da Vinci Code. And I thought, oh god, really? I mean, this was supposed to be literature, right? Thankfully, this is only one plot, and it quickly fades away when you come to the other main characters, which brings us to the Musil storyline. It is more than obvious that Menasse wants to follow in the footsteps of the Man Without Characteristics. The main storyline here revolves around the Jubilee Project, a ceremony to honor the creation of the European Commission. This Jubilee Project is a clear parallel to Musil's Parallelaktion, which celebrates the anniversaries of the two thrones of Austria-Hungary in 1918. I like this parallel very much, but for me, Menasse overdoes it, when he explicitly mentions the title of Musil's book more than once, so the parallel was not a hint anymore, but rather a neon-lit billboard saying, "This book has parallels to Musil," which was a bit too much for me. But nevertheless, it is still very clever. Musil's Man Without Characteristics is about the decline of the multinational state Austria-Hungary. In Menasse's The Capital is about the European Union, and some argue that it deals with its decline as well, but not in a populistic, but in a clever, descriptive, and oftentimes humorous way. Menasse spent almost a year in Brussels to understand the European Union, and you see this in the little details. For example, the difference of the morning bike commuters. The Germans ride to work quickly and take a shower at the office. The Spanish, on the other hand, ride slowly on their bikes, talking about the latest rumors and thus informing each other on their way to work. It just feels real. With the same levity, he touches the big political topics, like the exports of pigs to China. He doesn't tell it like a newspaper story, he tells us with its characters, and this makes it so compelling. There is a brother of the main character who is a lobbyist for the European pigs producers, and he tries to convince the European Commission to strike a deal with China before every nation-state does it on its own. But he is confronted with enemies, and people who are just destructive, like the so-called Ends. These are British bureaucrats who are waiting for the finalization of Brexit. Some of them are just drinking beer, playing dart, and sabotaging everything. Interesting, isn't it? Menasse crams so much into his novel that it takes a while to get a grasp of it. It took me the first 100 pages to really get into the story, and I had to go back over and over again to remind me who is who again, since there are only 6 main characters that are always switched to and from, but a whole lot of side characters as well. In the second 100 pages, the big picture materialized before me, and from page 300 on, I couldn't stop reading, because I wanted to see how it all unfolds. And it's not because of the Dan Brown murder mystery from the beginning, but of the overarching topic, which is Auschwitz, where the Jubilee Project is supposed to be held. And to me, Menasse raises a big question here. Is the European Union solely legitimized by the claim, "never again"? Or is it more than this? One character in the novel is David de Vriend, one of the last living survivors of the Auschwitz concentration camp. He suffers from dementia, and it gets worse and worse till all is forgotten. Professor Erhard, another character, fears the fading of this collective memory and puts up a solution that you will never forget. But if you want to know what this is, read this book. You won't regret it.